Hey everybody, it's Stacia Kennedy. I'm so excited, you guys. Welcome to the live stream. Today I have a special guest, and we are going to actually talk a little bit about behind the scenes mindset shifts that it takes to build a six-figure business and to launch a six-figure business. Because as you know, you guys, if you've been watching my live streams for a while now, and you know what I do, I am an online marketing coach for you guys who maybe you're just brand new and watching this video, actually just coming across my videos here. My name is Stacia Kennedy, and I'm an online marketing strategist. I help people launch their 6 and 7 figure business or get to 6 and 7 figure businesses on the internet. And I've actually been working as a digital entrepreneur for the last 10 years, over a decade. And I'm so excited to have my special guest here, Karuana D. She is actually the CEO of She's Got Goals. Let me put this over here. She has a long list of actually accolades, but I'll be really quick. And actually, she is an author, a business coach, a motivational speaker, and she's actually the founder of a program called the $1 Trillion Government Contract Accelerator, which I'll tell you guys about later on. And this is the program that we launched together in a 5-day challenge. And it actually sounds, great 5 days, but it is actually a little bit longer than 5 days. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But she was able to generate $110,000 over our goal. And so I'm so excited. Karuana, thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be on here. Of course, you are so amazing. Thank you for having me. Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot. We've been working together now for a little bit, and I'm super excited for people to share a little bit about your story. Let's actually go back. What did you do before? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I started my business. I started a business it's been about 20 years ago now. And the first business that I started, of course, was a multimedia company. Just to I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. Multimedia company. And when I first started my business, I was really trying to figure things out. It was really difficult trying to start a business from the ground up with little to no resources. And so eventually, I learned about like government contracting, which is like what I teach now, which helped me to really establish and grow a thriving business. And from there, I opened up She's Got Goals, LLC, which is a firm designed to empower women and minority small business owners to help them start and grow small businesses strategically and to get started with government contracting, which is one of the best ways to really get consistent income, regular paying customers, and land really large 5, 6, and even 7-figure contracts selling your services to the government. And so with that particular coaching and consulting firm, in the beginning, I was brand new. Of course, I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know anything about funnels. I didn't know anything about, being online. So at first it was like a lot of in-person, conferences or like workshops that I would do to get clients. But at that time, it was like maybe a couple clients here, maybe a couple clients there. But I really wanted to find a way to grow that consulting firm because I know the transformation that comes out of working with me in this particular aspect. And so digital marketing was like the next phase. And of course, it's been a tremendous learning curve. I worked with several coaches over the past few years to help me, reach amazing milestones. And so working with you just took everything and just the milestones just exploded, right? So this is like one of the most amazing results that I've gotten in this whole strategy, like in several years, right? So definitely to be able to generate 6 figures in 10 days, that's like just set the bar and it lets me know what's possible, right? So that's basically the gist of everything.
So one question that I got was, how did you get into government contracting? First of all, so you have a digital company, you doing media stuff that I like to video and photography. How did you come across government contracts?
Well, so what happened was, and most small business owners probably can relate to this. So when you're starting in business and you're trying to figure out how to let your business be your primary income, right? Because everybody's not able to do that. Some people are working part-time or working full-time where they work their business part-time. And so for me, all I had was my business. And I was in a situation to where all I had was my business, plus I'm going through a divorce. And so I had to figure out a way to make my business work for me. So I didn't have to go back to work, because for me, it was very important for me to be able to be there for my kids, to never miss an important moment. And so I had to figure out a way to make my business work. So in doing that, I started doing a lot of freelance work, right? So, I would do like websites or photography for people's websites, or I would do like short videos for businesses to kind of promote their business services and things of that nature. But even still, it was like nickels and dimes, right? It wasn't enough to really sustain. I was really struggling. It wasn't enough to really sustain my business. I was barely making about 20 to 30,000 a year at that pace. And I was really one of the clients that I was building his website, his portfolio, and just really trying to help him, with my services, had built a billion-dollar business, like a multi-billion-dollar business. And he used to always talk about billion-dollar contracts over here, million-dollar clients over there. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? Like, what did I miss, right? Because I was just trying to figure out, like, am I doing this all wrong? And what did I miss? And did I miss something in school, or did I just not do it right, or whatever, right? Because I felt like I was really on the outside trying to figure out business. I felt like I was an imposter, with a business license, and I didn't know what I was doing. And then so he took a serious look at me. And it was like, you do amazing work. The same thing that you're doing for me, you can actually do for the government and get paid a lot of money, right, for it. And so that's all he really had to say for me to just take a serious look at government contracting, figure out small business certifications, and position myself. Of course, it took me a little while to learn it. But once I did learn it, I landed my first contract, government contract, which was $70,000 for just 28 days of work. I thought that was so very powerful that I created my first ebook called The $1 Trillion Secret to Government Contracting. And from there, I was just like, I'm just going to tell everybody, because I believe every small business owner needs to know this information. I was like, this will help several people transform their lives. It really changed my life. I've never had to go back to a traditional 9 to 5 from that. And since then, I've landed multiple contracts, and simultaneously was able to really grow a business to where I'm proud of. And so now my coaching program, I'm empowering other people across the entire nation, across the US, on how to position themselves to get government contracts. So that's where I learned about it. And that's just kind of where it all took off at.
So you guys, we're doing another challenge. She actually is helping people to work together. We're launching another 5-day challenge, and it's called the government contract, how to pre-qualify your business for government contracts.
Yes.
And so you can actually go to, sorry, I put the wrong link here. It is staciakennedy.com/govconchallenge.com. So it's the short link is staciakennedy.com govconchallenge. So staciakennedy.com/govconchallenge. I'll put it right there in the description below. And so I'm excited to share. And I always tell people, guys, learn, do, teach. What I love about what she just shared was that she went out and learned a skill.
Yeah.
And she went and be the product of the product, guys. Perfect that, be the product of the product. Now she's in a position she can share that with others.
Yes.
Especially this time right now, you guys, women in minority business, niching down. We talked about this the other day together in our call together, and we were like, what's different is there's a few people out there, and actually not a lot of people who are teaching this, but and so even still, it's just a great market to have, and to be able to really niche down to helping women and minority business owners.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you say that, like learning and then teach it, right? Because that's just exactly what I'm doing. I've learned it, and I'm teaching other people how to do it successfully. I've had several clients land $1 million contracts and $100,000 contracts, and like just contracts in general, for the first time ever. And this is something that you can do as a brand new business, never heard of it before. You can go through my program and learn how to do it and get in position and start landing contracts within a short period of time, which allows you to really grow and build and to become a CEO. But I was thinking about how, like what you just said earlier about learning and doing. This morning I was thinking about I don't know if you guys remember the childhood story, and I may say it wrong, like the train that could, like, remember the little train that could, and he was like, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, right? So that's just where I was in my business, and maybe a lot of people, a lot of you are in your business in that area right now. It's like I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, but eventually I think I can should turn into I know I can, right? So I know I can, I know I can, I know I can, and then I'm going to do it, right? I will, I will, I will. I did it, and now I'm teaching somebody, and so that is the evolution of an entrepreneur. And like along your entrepreneurship journey, you should be going from I think I can to I know I can to I will to I did it, and now I'm teaching someone. And so for you, all of the amazing milestones that you've achieved in your business with the like teaching people about the challenge and how to set it up successfully. Like I couldn't have done this, without you, because like, I mean, of course, in my business, like when it comes to digital marketing, I was brand new. I had to learn every single aspect. And if you miss one thing, it can destroy your whole like plan for success. And so having someone like you who's an expert in funnels and launches and things of that nature, like you really just took everything. All I had to do was really just show up and do what I love to do and be the expert, like fill in the blanks and be the expert, which was amazing. And so I think that your product about the launch, like, which is like the 6-figure launch, right? The 6-figure launch funnel has been amazing. It's been phenomenal. I've gotten amazing results out of it. And so I'm looking to continue, of course, working with you. And I think more people need to know about what you do. I've seen not only the results in my own business, but other clients that I know that you've personally worked with behind the scenes. And I think it's really amazing that you have that thing on lock. I don't think I've seen anybody else really offer a product and offer some type of solution to small businesses where you can actually get those type of results in a short period of time. Absolutely.
A little munchkin interruption here, but yeah, oh my gosh, she slammed the door.
That's okay. That happens when you have babies. Hey, that's becoming your own boss and working for yourself. The reason why we do that a lot of times is so we can be there for our children. So we got babies popping up.
So my question, actually, this is a good lead into my next question for you, was that what was the process that you used to selecting me? I know you just mentioned there, you've seen a few other people that I've worked with behind the scenes, but you've tried a lot of things, Can you tell us a little bit of what you've tried before we met?
Yeah. Well, I worked with a lot of coaches over the past few years, and in working with those amazing coaches, who are awesome, all awesome. I've gotten milestone after milestone after, I've gotten results, but I did see that, and I've learned over the years that it's important to invest in yourself. And so for me, I'm always willing to invest in myself to see, what type of return on investment I'm going to get out of that. And so now that I know that something happens when you put your $5 on it or whatever, got 5 on it, put your money down on it, something happens if you believe and you have faith in that. So I had to grow to that point. But the reason why I selected you, even though I didn't know you or anything like that, like I saw that what you've done with Keisha Bass, who is also like a coach and consultant who is awesome, right? So she was also one of my mentees, and I see what you were doing with her behind the scenes. In fact, she recommended you, and I didn't know you from a sliced piece of bread, but I knew your work, right? And so I was like, I'm just going to trust, So, and it's really hard to do that as a small business owner, especially when it comes, when you're talking about I'm a small business and I got to pay this person and I've never seen their work before, but it's a leap of faith, of course. But mindset is everything for me. I had to learn how to trust. I had to learn how to take risks, right? And of course, this particular risk led to 6 figures, in 10 days. So now I'm going to take more risk, right? And so it's just a learning process, really. And so when we first started working together, I was like, well, what is the plan? What are we going to do? And you were like, I don't really have the plan, but I know where I'm going to take you. And I'm like, let me just sit back and just let her do her, right? I'm like, you're the expert. Just let me know what you need, right? And so you did your thing. Yeah. So I'm really happy to have an opportunity to work with you. Normally, I would do a little bit of research, but I've seen what you've done. And normally, I would be a little bit more skeptical, but I'm at the point of my life where I believe that everything is in total alignment. And so everyone that I'm attracting is going to help me get to my next level. And so I haven't missed a beat with that. I haven't missed a beat with the coaches that I've been working with and investing in their products and services and their coaching. I haven't missed a beat with the mentorship that I've received or whatever. So all the investments that I'm making, I'm believing it's going to take me to really where I want to go, which is to become the first billionaire of my family, my familia. Yes.
Awesome. I'm just grateful to be part of the team and to grow with you, because we didn't necessarily have a plan, but we grew together and we created the plan together. And now we have a duplicatable process.
Right.
Where we can just double and just keep hitting our milestones and our goals.
Yeah.
And speaking of those fears and what other people say, this is something that someone with a strong mindset, or someone who's worked with, mindset and manifesting things like that. What would you say to someone? And I know we've talked about this, when people say you can't do it, you can't do,
right.
Challenges wouldn't work for your business.
You know what? It's funny that you say that, because like 2 years ago, I was in a coaching program, and my particular coach at that time was like, a challenge is not going to work for you, right? And maybe that was true for that time, right? And so sometimes people take "don't do it yet" or "no" as a indefinite thing, like never do it, right? And so at that time, maybe I wasn't ready, and I believe that I wasn't. And I really do believe if I would have tried it on my own, I probably would have failed miserably, because when you're talking about digital marketing and like all the funnels and challenges and all this stuff, you have to think about, how are you going to get the message out to people to know, right? So maybe a landing page, you have to think about the ads or whatever lead generation. You're going to think about managing a Facebook group. You have to think about like email follow-ups. There's a lot of little bitty pieces, right? And even though I learned how to do all of those little bitty pieces, that's not my expertise. And so if I would have dropped one piece of the ball, right, that would have just destroyed the challenge. And so 2 years later, when you were like, I think you should do a challenge, I'm like, well, my coach before told me not to do it, but maybe I'm ready now, right? And then, and especially now that I have someone who knows how to do it and is going to handle all the logistics and the back end part and managing the Facebook group. Oh, you've done a phenomenal job. Like, it's just like you're an octopus. You have like all of these hands working in the background, and you made me look really amazing, right? In the process. And so, so definitely it's been a learning curve. And so when it comes to mindset, of course, you have to know, right? Not anybody can do everything, right? And sometimes it's the timing. Sometimes you have to grow, right? You have to, and over those 2 years, I would like to say that I've grown into this powerful person that I know exactly how to help people, right? And I know what I have to offer without a shadow of a doubt. And even that same coach that I'm referring to right now, she taught me that. She taught me how to be clear about who it is that I want to help and be clear about the transformation, that I have to offer to people or whatever. And so now years later, that I'm standing firm on that, and I know exactly who I am and what I have to offer, and I'm an expert in what I'm talking about. Then at that point, maybe it's the time to look again and say, am I ready now? And so that's basically what I did. Am I ready now? And so, of course, with all the pieces of the puzzle in place, the results speak for itself. And so I would say sometimes when people tell you no, like never let no one tell you, this is what I always say, never let no one tell you no, right? And just let that be indefinite. Okay. You have to understand where you are as a person. You have to understand that whenever there's a no, there's always a way around it, over that, through it, or whatever. So what you believe is true. If you believe you can, you're right. If you believe you can't, you're right. But sometimes that no just means no, not now. Right. And so you have to do some personal, professional development to get to the place where now you're ready, because nobody wants to see you fail. And I believe that about most coaches. Of course, they don't want to see you fail. And so they may say, not right now. Right. It's just not your time, because they can see because of their success and the things that they know, their knowledge and the things that they know, they can see that you're not ready. And so that's what I believe about even yourself. Like, you're like, oh my God, you're going to do so amazing. Like you foresaw it because this is your expertise, right? You foresaw that it was amazing, right? I didn't really know. I was like, well, we're going to try this thing. But I believed I could, right? Just like the train, I believed that I could, right? And I did. Right.
I like that. I think a couple of clients that I've, especially with you, sometimes I just get so excited too inside that I can see that, right? And then you're like, okay, like that leap of faith, and then you're like, wow, like afterwards, it's that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I remember when you told me this. I remember when you showed me that Excel sheet of what was possible, and then we made it happen.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Because I remember you were like, because you were like, what are your goals, right, for this particular challenge? And I'm like, I clearly want to. I don't even know what my goal was. I can't even recall. I know we exceeded it, right? I think I just wanted like 50,000. I think that was it. I'm not exactly sure, but I think I was like, I just want to generate $50,000 with this challenge or whatever. And you was like, okay, so in order to do that, and you work backwards, we have to have so many people. In the Facebook group, we have to have, so much marketing or whatever, and so many sales, right, in order to do that. And so like after the challenge, I was like, oh my God, you remember, I was looking at the spreadsheet. I'm like, we exceeded that. And so I truly believe that when you set goals and you're clear about what it is that you want to achieve, everything is possible, but you have to write the vision first. And so we wrote it out and exceeded that. And so now my next goal is to exceed that. Right. And so I'm a real believer of writing a vision, making it plain, vision boards and writing your numbers. Like another one of my coaches, Christiana Anise, who is super awesome. She's a part of she's a founder of She's Got Her Own Network. She's super awesome, but she was the first one that taught me the $1 million math, right? The $1 million game plan. Anybody can make $1 million. All you have to do is do the numbers and do the work, right? And so it's really about doing the numbers and doing the work. And that's exactly what we've done here. We've done the numbers, we've done the work. And so now I'm looking forward to, that 7-figure lodge, that 7-figure, because I know it's possible, right? With all the billions and millions of people that's in the world, it's possible. There's people out there that's waiting for transformation. And I want to say, you cannot sell junk. You can't sell just anything to anybody, right? You have to have something that's going to get people results. And I know that what I have not only changes lives, but it transforms lives, and it transforms businesses. And it's something that you can do forever. So it's the best investment. It's one of the best investments when you can pay something one time to learn how to do something for the rest of your life, right? Until you decide you want to retire. And so those are the type of things that I like to invest in.
Yes. Yeah. Knowing your numbers is so important to any goal. If you want to reach that, you need to know how to get there. You need to have the roadmap. And one of the things I love what you said was that you have to, you weren't ready, going back to the other question I asked, in certain phases of your business, just because a coach suggests something, like you can take that into consideration, but feel out whether a challenge is right for you right now. It might not be right for you right now. You maybe need to feel more confident in the offer. And when you feel more confident in the offer, you just show up, just like Karuana. I love working with people who are just so confident in their offer. It's a already a proven model. It's like Shark Tank, actually. It just popped in my head. It's like when people come to Shark Tank, they want to know your numbers. They want to know that you actually have a product that's already popular and being sold, that they can really get behind. Yeah. And so I love and that's why I'm also very particular when I work with people now. I've worked with people in the past that weren't ready, and I learned that our relationship together wasn't a good fit. And now I know, especially who I want to work with,
exactly,
that I can really help them with that transformation. Because
absolutely,
my next question for you is, some of we kind of hit some of the fears, but one of the things we had to do and hopefully you don't mind when speaking about this, we all have life obstacles. Okay. Yeah. And a lot of times people have things that get, come you have to pause, you have to take a
Yeah.
step back. And we had
Yeah.
to, and we actually had to, unfortunately, push the challenge back a week. And I was
Yeah.
like, nobody's going to notice. Like, take
Yeah.
some time. You had some family things come up. Like,
Yeah.
what was that like going through that? And most people, like I was telling you the other day, most people just like lose it and like
Yeah.
come back from that.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was like, of course we had an unexpected loss, in the family. My husband's 22-year-old daughter, passed away suddenly, and it was like totally unexpected. And here we are in the middle of, we're about to launch this challenge, and there's a lot of, of course, there's a lot of things that, you plan, and sometimes the unexpected happen. And what do you do then? Sometimes people give up. And so, or throwing the ball or use excuses or whatever. But I know that this is something that needed to be done, because I know that as a part of like I want to say my ministry, because I feel like as a ministry that I'm called to transform lives. Right. And so, of course, I had to take some time off to be there for my family and to go, do that. But also at the same time, I had to come back and just pick up where I left off, and right, without excuses. And so in life, I learned that there are no excuses, right? The dog just died, the cat just died, the kid ate the homework, all that type of stuff. Like, eliminate excuses. There's no excuses. You can do anything in life that you want. You can achieve anything in life that you want. Of course, real life is happening, but you have to learn to stay on track, or to get back up and get back on track as soon as possible. Because what would have happened, I believe, like if I would have just sat back for several months, right? Not only would I have missed the mark of what I was called to do, to transform these people's lives, right? The lives of these people at that given time. But also I probably would have just not been motivated. I probably would have lost the fire and lost the motivation. But I use like the things that I go through in my own personal life, which we all have, things that happen. I use that as fuel, right? So now I have to work harder, because we still have 5 kids together, to build a legacy for, and to leave things for, and stuff like. So I just take all of that, the things that happen, to fuel me, right? To be even more motivated, to go harder. You know what I mean? To reach the goals that we need to reach as a family.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate you and for being here, and your example and what you've been able to do to come through and overcome those obstacles and still show up, because it's not just you have a mission, right? You have that vision, and that was something that helped you fuel the fire and get back up and keep going, keep it going.
Yeah, of
So
course.
a lot of people, I've had clients before, get in their head about, well, what are other people going to think? I said I was going to do it on this particular date. Like, nobody's noticing, you guys. They're going to be fine.
And I think that I think what kind of defines it the most is SMART goals, right? So when you create SMART goals for yourself, goals that of course everybody knows that are strategic and measurable and whatever, attainable, and all that stuff. So when you create these SMART goals for yourself, of course, you set these measures, right? And you can measure if you miss it. It's really not there. It's really not set for you to hit it 100% on the mark. It's there for you to say, I didn't reach it this time, but I know where I'm going, right? So it gives you kind of like a benchmark of where you are and whether or not you have achieved that. And once you do achieve that, now here's the next time for you here's an opportunity for you to create your next SMART goal, something that you'll have something to measure if you miss the mark or not. And so even when, life happens and you have to sit back and take some time off or whatever, you still have that goal and where you're going, right? So it's kind of like a roadmap, basically. So everybody has to have a roadmap. Yes. Angelica says, absolutely, SMART goals will keep you on track and stay focused. Yes.
Love it. Cool. Well, thanks again. I know as a coach, I forget what they say, like sometimes your students also become your coach. And so I'm just so excited to even know you, to be around you guys, you want to be a billionaire, you want to be a millionaire, you have to hang around people who are doing shit. Sorry.
That is so true. Like even in like my family, like I have nieces that are young, they're like in their early 20s and stuff like that. And everybody is just like, of course, flock to me. And I'm like, what are you doing with your life? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Like, you can do anything. I'm like that. I'm that person, that motivation on crack, right? I'm like, what do you want to do? Have you considered this? Have you thought about that? Oh, you could do a blog, right? So I'm always trying to motivate people and tell them, like, there's no reason for you to just be mediocre, right? You don't have to sit back and just work a job when you have all of these other skills and things that you want to do. You have to step out on faith, believe in yourself, and then just do it. Like, that's all you have to do. Is the best thing you can do whenever you have a goal and have a dream is do it, right? And it's okay if you do it and mess up. That's even better if you do it and mess up, right? If you fail. But the best thing about failing is you use that as an opportunity to learn. Like, what did I do wrong, right? And then learn not to do it that way again. Try something else. But the people, there's a scripture that says this. It says the race, right, is not given to the swift, like those who run fast, right? It's not given to the strong, those who have the ability to make it happen, but it's given to the one that endures, right? So endure regardless of what's going on in life, endures regardless of all the ways, many times that you fall. The one that endures into the end, that's who wins. And so no matter what happens when you're trying to achieve something, you have the ability to get back up and to keep going. And so that is the beautiful part about life. And so that's like what I drive into, like, all of my nieces, and they're like, oh, I have a baby now. Okay, well, create a baby blog. That you can make money. Your baby is hecka cute, right? All that stuff. Like, there's nothing that can hold you back from being who you want to be or doing whatever it is that you want to do, but you. Like, it's all in your mind. Right? It's all in your mind. The blocks are all in your mind. So let's move some of these blocks, these clouds, and see the light. Come into the light, Caroline.
That's the whole point of She's Got Goals, right?
Yeah.
Like, people with that. I'm literally obsessed. I can't help but see those things too. And I'm like, oh my God, you can do this and you do that.
Right.
And like, we can do this. And there's so many things we want to do. And in 2021, or whenever you're watching this video, watch out, right? You guys, watch out for Karuana D. Is there anything else you'd like to share where people can get more information about you or working with you in the future?
Yeah. So I definitely drop your line about the 5-day challenge. This is where you can actually come on to be pre-qualified as a government contractor. This is something that anybody can do. We've had a very successful launch the first time. So many people have gotten transformations. So many people are now landing contracts. And you can do this even if you've never heard of government contracts before. That is my passion.
All kinds of businesses,
right?
Really open my eyes, like not just you think of, when people think of government contractors, like they probably think of, like, I don't know. I think of my uncle who's like in the army, or government contractors that are retired and they're doing stuff for the government.
Yeah.
But this is like everyday businesses.
Yeah, it's like any everyday business, right? The government is one of the largest buyers of products and services in the world, like the U.S. government is. Okay. So what that means for you as a small business owner, you can sell them lights. You can sell pencils and pens, right? You can sell your services, your coaching, your consulting services. You can sell anything to hair. I have clients that have worked with me and now they're selling prosthetic wigs, successfully to the federal government. And so you can sell anything to the government, from music to performing arts, to art, to paint, to electrical, right? And so if you're a business owner and you're here to be in business and you're here to grow a business and you want to sustain your business, even in time of pandemic, the government is awarding large $1 million contracts. And I have a client, he's like more of a mentee now, a mentor, and a colleague of mine who just landed a $1 million contract in pandemic, right? They're giving out large contracts to tutors, right, for tutorial services. And so just about anything that you do, whatever it is that you sell to consumers or to people, you can sell to the government and land large contracts in doing so. And so that is one of the most fail-proof ways of growing a small business. Is one of the biggest kept secrets that will that was designed to help small businesses, especially women and minorities and LGBT groups and all of these disadvantaged, socioeconomic disadvantaged, groups and members of those particular disadvantaged backgrounds. There are contracts that are set aside for you. So if you want it, go get it. If you want it, go get it. Like, all you have to do is get in position. And of course, it's a little bit of paperwork in order to get in position, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. I said wealth, but it is wealth it. I like that. It's all wealth it. Okay. Yeah. You want to get wealthy? It's wealth it. I got a new word. That's funny.
No, I actually have a lot, and I've seen a couple people, but real quick before I let you go, actually, I know you have to run to another call, but I have a lot of realtors and people in the real estate industry. Mm-hmm. Is that something I think I've seen some realtors in your program as well too. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, of course, when you think about government, you're not going to think real estate. You're not going to think like notary. You're not going to think any of that stuff, right? Even bottled water you can sell to the government. But yeah, they have contracts for real estate, for land purchasing. I mean, you got to think about it. You have to think about it's not common knowledge, but it is. It's just like you have to think of it from the perspective of, okay, well, government agencies, City Hall it's a building, right? So of course they're in the real estate game because it's a building. They buy land, right? There's government property, right? There's FEMA camps. There's like all of these different pieces of land. And so of course, when it comes to real estate, there are contracts for realtors as well. As just about anything else, right? So, they consume water. They use soap in the bathroom. They turn on lights. So energy, the government agencies or they have websites. So they secure web Wi-Fi, right? And they have IT and like all of these firewalls. And so if you sell any of that stuff and get the government as a client, that's like billions of dollars in contracting opportunities for you as a small business.
Y'all, you heard it, billions of dollars. So if I stuck to the end and heard this valuable information here, the possibilities are endless. Join the challenge. It starts on Monday, depending on when you're watching this. For a limited time, you can actually upgrade and get private coaching with her. So I'm super excited about that. And if there's anything else that you want to leave around mindset and leave the people here about creating a seven-figure now on to seven-figure business.
Seven-figure. Well, I just want to say that you have to, like I always tell people, to live life by design, right? That is my saying. Live life by design and not by default. Of course, and I had to learn that myself because for several years I lived by default, right? I remember when we will have things where, now the phone bill, the phone is off. Now, by default, of course, you go pay the bill, right? But when you plan things in advance, right, it helps you to live life by design. And so in business, when you plan your business in advance, like right now, we're planning the $1 billion lodge, right? We're planning that in advance. You can get in front of things. You don't have to wait for it to happen. You can actually purposely make it happen, like living life on purpose, right? And so that's the last thing that I really want to leave you with is live life by design, not by default. You can achieve anything in life that you want to achieve. And if you fail or stumble upon anything that you're trying to achieve, of course, get back up again, like Donnie McClurkin, and then take that as a learning experience to learn what not to do, right? And then teach someone else. So everyone is responsible for teaching someone else of how you did whatever it is that you do. And remember to start like the little train. I think I can. I know I can. I will. I did it. And now I'm teaching someone else how to do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here again. And you know what I always say, guys, much love and aloha, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Bye-bye.